So things can happen in unexpected places. Things usually can happen at a mall or maybe even a coffee shop. But sometimes it can happen in things that you wouldn't expect, like a graveyard or a funeral home in my case. So my story starts out with my best friend Stephanie, who's been my friend since 7th grade. And usually you'd meet friends at those common places, but I met her at one of the more morbid places with death. And you don't really think of death with new friendships or new life. Well, this started with my ex, who was a girl, and we had to go to her grandpa's funeral. And at the funeral, I had to go there with Stephanie because I didn't know where it was at. But it turned out to be a block away. Well, she met me at my front door, and we had to continue going down there, which was like a 5-minute walk, but since it was awkward, it felt like 10 years. And we march into the funeral home and have to fill out this little book thing, which my signature was a signature of block print in a land of cursive. And after we do that, we do the typical teenage response, and we find the food, which is in the back of the room. And so we're sitting back there eating, and we look around, and there's nobody else back there, and it turns out they were having the viewing. So after we're talking and we're late to view this dead body of her grandpa, one of her relatives comes in, and we have to go out there, and after a joke that the girl had told, we are still laughing, and we're approaching this body, and we're trying not to laugh, so it probably looked really good on our part, because we're just sitting there laughing, and we're supposed to be quiet and honoring this body. So we run back to the back room and sit there talking, and we leave at around 8. And I also met my grandma there, which was really weird because I didn't know that they didn't know each other. But as we get there, and we're sitting in the back room eating and talking, we just kind of continued our friendship after the funeral home trip. And after we leave the funeral home, we kind of hung out later that night because it was over the summer, I believe. And we just hung out a lot. We still hang out and we help each other with homework. And we don't hang out as often during the winter as we do in the summer because it's cold out. But our friendship has been pretty great, and I've met a lot of friends because of her, and she's met a lot of friends because of me. And overall, it was really nice to meet her, so my lesson is, if you have the chance to meet someone, you should do it, because even if you don't get it done, and you don't get the friendship right, at least you'll have the experience to continue doing it, and it'll help you later in life, because you need friends, or at least people you know, so it's not as boring and dull. And if I can give a word of advice, having the experience of either losing a friend or gaining a friend will help you in both cases, because then you can get a lot of stuff accomplished.